What up everyone, it's your man XMan87 here, bringing you another Marvel Legends video, and what I have for you today is the Marvel Legends Zabu Build-A-Figure series Ka-Zar and Zabu action figure review. That's right, starting off my first video of this wave with the Baf first, which is something I don't normally do, but can't review one without the other, as these two just go together. Before we get into everything, if you could please leave a thumbs up, like rating on the video, it'll help show your support for my channel and I greatly appreciate it. Now with that said, it's story time! Even though originally debuting in the 1930s as one of the first superheroes ever in the Golden Age, Marvel reintroduced a new Ka-Zar into their new universe, a different and separate character from that of the original. Ka-Zar and Zabu first appeared in X-Men issue number 10 back in March 1965 and was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Kevin Plunder, aka Ka-Zar, was the son of a nobleman. His father, Lord Robert Plunder, made a breaking discovery when he found Vibranium B, which is the isotope antimetal that liquefies all metal, along with the hidden prehistoric jungle in the Antarctic continent that became known as the Savage Land. A tribe of barbaric man-apes killed Lord Plunder, but as they attacked his infant son, Kevin, they were driven off by Zabu, the last survivor of the Smilodon species, a saber-toothed tiger that the man-apes had hunted to near extinction. Immediately forming an empathic bond, Zabu took Kevin in, became his mentor, raising him and teaching him the ways of the Savage Land and how to survive it. Kevin was given the name Ka-Zar, which means son of the tiger. When the original X-Men discovered the Savage Land, Ka-Zar encountered them and helped them in battling Magor. Ka-Zar would then meet Daredevil, which led him to finding his lost brother, the Plunderer, and defeating him. He and Zabu also fought alongside Spider-Man battling Kraven the Hunter. Ka-Zar and Zabu would have many adventures together, teaming up with the X-Men, and after defeating Garak and Zaladane of Magneto's Savage Land mutates, then beating them again after Sauron took over leadership, he would meet the love of his life, an adventurer who had become lost in the jungle by the name Shauna O'Hara, later known as Shauna the She-Devil. The two would eventually marry and have a son named Matthew. Ka-Zar and Shauna helped colonize the Savage Land and expanded the Savage family by opening its doors for new settlers, such as granting Scar fiefdom, allowing his fellow Sicarians to have a new home. For powers and abilities, Ka-Zar possesses near superhumanoid conditioning followed by enhanced longevity due to wading through the mysterious vapors within the Land of Mists in the Savage Land. His strength has been greatly magnified beyond his already impressive norm, enabling him to lift and toss a full-grown T-Rex over 50 miles with ease. His time as a survivalist made him very skilled in hunting, tracking, trapping, fishing, swimming, and has great overall foraging skills. He also excels as a combatant, both in unarmed and weaponized melees such as knives and swords, spears, as well as being an excellent shot with bows and slings. His weapons are not just sticks and stones. Because Antarctic Vibranium exists in the Savage Land, most of the weapons he crafts are laced with Vibranium B. He also sports a Vibranium belt buckle underneath his loincloth that projects a sonic wave which opens up invisible doorways leading to different planes of reality. A Vibranium knife strong enough to pierce through the invulnerable skin of Fin Fang Foom. He has ties with Black Panther through connections dealing with Vibranium, as Ka-Zar was once a Wakandan agent for his Commander-in-Chief T'Challa. Black Panther gifted him the Time Dagger device, which he manufactured comprising of celestial technology. And he also uses biotech provided by his wife Shauna the She-Devil. In the most recent events, Ka-Zar was bestowed the power cosmic by Galactus and would become known as the Savage Herald. Ka-Zar has made appearances outside of comics in some cartoons like the 80s Spider-Man and 90s X-Men the Animated Series, as well as some brief video game appearances in X-Men Legends 2 Rise of Apocalypse and a cameo in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 in Amaterasu's ending. The Lord of the Savage Land, Ka-Zar, and his trusted companion Zabu has appeared in a combined total of 1,514 issues. Alright, let's first take a look at Ka-Zar, and his head sculpt is a good one. I really like it. The hair is nice. I wish it was a little bit longer, but this is fine by me. And the wash on it, it's really nice. It looks very dirty. I mean, this dude came from the Savage Land, so I don't expect his hair to be clean all the time. And that face, look at the savagery in those eyes. His eyes look like he's seen some prehistoric shit. Oh wait, yeah, he did, of course. But nice head sculpt, I gotta say. Overall, I like the facial expression, that stern look. Yeah, he has those strong facial features like those bulging cheekbones and the chiseled jaw. This is everything you would want a Ka-Zar head sculpt to have. The rest of the body is comprised of mostly Vulcan reuse, like the arms and the legs. The boots are new, And also we get a newly sculpted bare-chested torso. So the lower part of the torso right here is reused from Vulcan. We're talking about this upper torso right here. This area is new, as you can see. We get sculpted nipples. Yep, free the nips. I had to make sure these weren't reused from Shang-Chi, but he only had the painted nipples on. They actually sculpted these nipples, but they didn't paint them. That's funny though. But it's ripped. It's how Ka-Zar should be. You know, I like the physique they gave him, so I feel like the Vulcan body was a good reuse for him. However, the arms, they needed to do something about this. Why couldn't they cover this with like a furry wristband? He's worn those in the comics before, or some wrappings. You know, something to cover that seam, because this looks ugly as hell. This should not be shown on a bare arm. They needed to give him a smooth forearm. I just don't get it, because they got forearms to go with the pinless joints, so maybe there's an existing part that you could use to cover this. Something you might want to look into. And then here is his loincloth right there. And it's a nice looking sculpt with all the fur going on. And even some nice painted details right there too. You can see some shading. You get some tattering at the top right there. And his rope belt. And you got the holster right there. Or sheath, I should say, to store his knife. I'll show you that later in accessories. But yeah, this is funny. All the funny jokes about this guy looking like Savage He-Man, but little do they know that he came decades before Savage He-Man. So I get it. It's funny. I mean, they do look alike. Here are the legs and the rest of the boots. Again, you get some nice shading on there, some nice paint details, and I like that. Weathering on characters like this is important. Could have used some more on the boots, but it has some nice texturing, so I'll take that. And yeah, that's pretty much it for Ka-Zar. Now for accessories, besides a pair of fists, he comes with these open stylized action hands. And lastly, he comes with a pair of gripping hands. They're the trigger hands, not the regular C-grip hands. That would have been better. And he also comes with his vibranium knife and spear. And so the spear looks pretty good though. I like the sculpt right there. Could have used the little paint details at the top, but get a rope tied around it. Feels like an extra piece, right? Yeah, it is. I like that. And then, you know, some wooden texture on the rest of the spear. And then his knife is pretty cool. It's nicely painted in a metallic silver and gold. So I like that. And like I pointed out before, behind this belt, he has a little slot here where you can just store his knife there, and that looks pretty cool. So I like storage options. Now to cover articulation, his head is on a disc hinge, so he's gonna look about that far up. The hair is gonna hinder some movement, so I kind of wish he had an alternate head with some windswept hair so he could look further up. I mean, this guy's the Tarzan of Marvel, so he's gonna be swinging and shit, so just to get him in some dynamic poses, that would have helped. His head looks that far down, left, right. His arms move up and down. They move outward and up about that far, slightly higher than a T-pose. And he's got butterfly joints that move that far forward and that far back. And he's got the bicep swivel, double jointed pinless elbows, wrist swivel, wrist hinge, ab crunch that moves about that far forward and that far back. He's got a waist swivel. His legs spread out that far. He can kick up fairly high, kick fairly back. It's going to be an awkward frontward split. And then his legs rock around. Thigh swivel and double jointed knees. You get heel to the free butt. Nice. I'll take that. You got the boot swivel. Ankles move up that far, down, and you can pivot them all around. It's crazy because I didn't think Hasbro could make a half-naked dude look pretty damn cool. Despite how much I hate the visible forearm seam, this is by far a superior update and everything I wanted in a new Ka-Zar with multiple hands and weapons. I'm rating Ka-Zar an 8 out of 10. And now taking a look at the Build-A-Figure Zabu. This thing is absolutely incredible. I mean, insane levels of detailing here. You can see it on the sculpt through and through. It's just covered in details. Look at all the fur that you see. It doesn't miss a single spot on this guy. And this is a pretty heavy kitty, I gotta say. Yeah, it's got some weight to it. And this isn't the first time Zabu has been in the Marvel Legends line. If you guys recall, back in 2008, there was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive 3-pack, a Savage Land 3-pack, that included Shauna the She-Devil, Ka-Zar, and Zabu. So that Zabu was technically not a Marvel Legends. It was reused from a G.I. Joe 6-inch line called Sigma 6. It was a very cartoony looking line. And they just reused it from the Tiger of that set. And all they did was slap a new head on it. So that had a very cartoony look. It didn't have all the furry sculpture you see here, because it had that kind of animated look where it had some smooth surfaces and some line work. And yeah, no, this is for sure highly detailed. And speaking of G.I. Joe, they always kill it with their animals, and I feel like they took a page out of G.I. Joe Classified here with a highly detailed animal. Not just highly detailed, but highly articulate too. I gotta thank the G.I. Joe line though, because if it wasn't for them, maybe we wouldn't be getting this kind of Build-A-Figure, especially with this level of detail. So I hope to see more animals, and hopefully the G.I. Joe team is pushing Marvel Legends to put out some more animals, because yeah, I like that friendly competition. You know what I mean? I like to see, you know, them step up their game, and I see it this year. Marvel Legends has stepped up their game big time. But look at this face sculpt right here for Zabu. It's absolutely beautiful. You got the green eyes right there, piercing green eyes. He's got a growling expression. I love it. And you can see the nose right there. Look at these tusks. Damn, man, they're so freaking sharp too. They're pretty sharp, I gotta say. They're pretty sharp. I mean, pliable, but they still feel a little prickly. I don't think you'd have to worry about them snapping off or breaking or anything like that. But nice paint job. That's a great paint job right there on the mouth area. And yeah, just beautiful cat. Damn, this thing is awesome. I love saber-toothed tigers. He's got an articulated jaw right there, so you can see more of his teeth, and yeah, the tongue right there. Beautiful. This is absolutely stunning. And you get some nice paint details too. You get a few shaders in here. You see right there on the neck area and on the arms, or legs, excuse me. And yeah, even on the paw pads right there, nicely sculpted. You see his dew claw right there. This is beautiful. Yeah, you get some light shaders, a few dark shaders too. So it's a nice blend. More paw pads right there. Take a look at the hind legs. Damn, this thing is so nice. They did it so nice. I don't get that right there. There's like these holes. I don't understand why there's a extra hole there at all. It's just weird to me. It would have been funny if they sculpted a poop shoe here. But that's his tail, and it looks really good. All of this, it just looks so damn good. Phenomenal job here by the Hasbro Marvel Legends team. No accessories. I kind of wish he had an additional head to pop on with a much softer face. You know, make him look a little more cutesy, a non-growling expression. That would have been nice to see. But other than that, I love what they gave us here. This is definitely Baf worthy. Then scaling him next to Ka-Zar, taking a look at these two together, it looks pretty damn good. I mean, pretty damn spot on. Could he have been bigger? Maybe, sure, yeah, you could say that, but I think this size is fine, honestly, for a saber-toothed tiger. I mean, he's supposed to be 4 feet tall, so, and Ka-Zar's like, what, 6-something? So I think this is fine, honestly, and when you stand him up on his hind legs, he's going to be bigger than Ka-Zar. So look at this, man, giving Ka-Zar a hug. Look how he scales. I mean, it's perfect. To me, it's perfect. He's fine as is. He didn't need to be bigger. I know sometimes the comics can over-exaggerate things and make him look bigger than he normally is, but this is perfect for me. And if you're wondering if you could balance him on his hind legs to make him stand tall, yes, you can. As you see right here, he is very impressive in scale, towering over Ka-Zar. And if I get my measuring tape right here, he's about 8 inches tall when standing him, maybe a little bit more because I don't have his neck looking all the way up. So measuring him from his bottom leg all the way to his head, about 9 inches if you're measuring him this way. So I don't mind animals being Bafs as long as they're a reasonable size, not like that Cosmo Baf. That was ridiculous. That is not Baf worthy. But this, my fellow Marvel Legends collectors, This Zabu is definitely bath worthy. I mean, I haven't even covered articulation yet, and there's just so many cool poses you can get him into. And I've been having a blast posing this figure around. I mean, something as fun as making him lay down or giving himself some cat scratches. He's just absolutely fun to pose and quite adorable when you do things like this too. Now to cover articulation with Zabu, his head is on a ball joint, so you get that rocking motion. Move it however you like. It does move left and right. The jaw is articulate, so it moves up and down. And you got the neck area right here that moves about this far down. So you get some range and that far up. So you can utilize this neck area to make them look further up or further down. So you got this torso area right here that moves that far up, down. It does rotate just like this neck area as well, that rotates, and it kind of rocks, I think. No, not this part, but this part definitely rocks. As you can see, that rocks around. And then you got his legs, the front legs, that move up about that far up, so he can get some good lunging poses. No butterfly joints or anything like that, obviously, but he does move his legs outward quite a bit, so that's pretty nice. And they do have this kind of pivot to them, so it does rock like that. They got swivel at the joints right here, and it also has a single joint that moves about that far, and then down that low he's got ankle hinges right here, and the paws do pivot, so that is nice. The back legs work as the same as the front, where they move up and around. You could again get them into a lot of poses. It also has that same pivoting that I showed you before on both those legs. The knee section right here bends that far in, and it also swivels. The ankle area also has a hinge right there, and the paw right there has a hinge, and you can pivot that as well. And then lastly, his tail has a hinge up and down, and it also swivels. This Zabu Baf is a far superior update to that inferior San Diego Comic-Con version back in 2008. Definitely the best animal in the Marvel Legends line, and being highly articulate, highly detailed, and all of the above, I can say I had the most fun with this figure and is my favorite out of the wave. Zabu gets a standing ovation from me, a 10 out of 10. Total awesomeness. Now for some comparisons, here's Ka-Zar and Zabu next to some allies that played an important key role in the Savage Land mythos. We have Black Panther and Daredevil. Here they are next to Spider-Man and Kraven the Hunter. Here they are next to the Man-Thing Build-A-Figure, who they have fought in the comics. Here they are next to some X-Men villains, such as Magneto and Mr. Sinister. Here they are next to one of their arch-nemesis, Sauron. And for fun, I put them next to a Mattel Jurassic Park Amber Collection Raptor in case you want some dinos for your Savage Land. Also, here's Zabu next to some Pet Avengers I assembled. We have the Mezco Lockjaw, then the Hasbro Marvel Legends Miss Lions, Lockheed, and I'm using Goose as Hairball. I think Throg and Redwing would complete the team. Then lastly, here is Ka-Zar and Zabu next to the X-Men 275 team, and since these two played a huge role in the Savage Land of those issues, I'll be displaying them next to this team for now. Hopefully we get a Savage Land Rogue soon. And now to wrap things up, since I gave these their own individual scores and went very high on the ratings, I stand by them as I'm very high on these figures. I think they came out great and blows their San Diego Comic-Con versions out of the water. Ka-Zar had many looks with his gear. Boots, no boots. Wrist tapings, no wrist tapings. No matter how they did it, I really don't need a specific era look for Ka-Zar because Ka-Zar will look like Ka-Zar no matter what. He has the most accessories in the wave with many hands and weapons. He's really a lot of fun to pose, and that's what I need in a Ka-Zar, as he's an acrobatic aerialist. Zabu is most likely going to end up in my top 10 list. This is the one out of the wave that I could not put down these last few days since opening them up. They killed it in every area of this figure, from sculpt, paint, articulation, details, all of it. He's a very versatile figure. Don't let the size fool you. He's a lot bigger than you think. Again, along with that versatility, he can lay, he can sit. He not only stands on all fours, but stands on his two hind legs if you balance him well enough. Now with this, I have high hopes for this to pave the way for a fully articulated Lockjaw. Or maybe even get some of their fellow Savage Land residents, such as Moon Boy and Devil Dinosaur. Zabu is one of this year's best, and I just wished we had Shauna the She-Devil in this wave to complete the Savage Land trio at once. Maybe a Savage Land 3-pack with Rogue and Storm. I'm curious to know how they'll release her now. Anyways, these two together are a 1-2 knockout punch from the wave, and anytime I can get more characters from the X-Men mythos such as these two, I'm all for it. Now I kick it back to you. What do you think of Ka-Zar and Zabu? What other Savage Land related characters would you like to see next? And tell me your pitch on how they should release Shauna the She-Devil. Comment below, let me know, we'll chat about it. Thanks for watching another Marvel Legends review. Please follow me on Instagram if you haven't already at xmanny87. Hit the notification bell so you always know when my latest videos are up. Share and subscribe if you're new. See you on the next review. Peace, peace. This Ka-Zar and Zabu figure has now called upon the return of Naked Sexy Sauron!